Good morning, comic and pop culture sirs. This is James with Midhunter Comics, going over 20 rules of comic book etiquette from the point of view of the seller. If you missed yesterday's video, click the link here and it'll direct you to 20 tips from the perspective of the buyer. If you would be a good sir, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let's start off our list from the seller's point of view by not removing comics from a deal. If you were to ask what my number one frustration is, it would be making a trip specifically for books that might have been sent to you as a picture, only to arrive and have the seller decide that they're not selling those books. Home brethren, those books are literally why I made the drive. The next one is awkward, but it is important to be upfront with what you can pay for bulk. These days, the comic book shop standard for true bulk is about 10 cents per book, some shops even 5 cents. This may be underwhelming and needs to be explained up front. They may not know that bulk is that value less, and that does need to be explained. Let them know before they make the drive. Next, it's important to pay up for keys. Keys are not bulk, and thus must be treated differently. You need to make money, but at the same time, it's not right to charge a bulk rate for decent books. Sometimes people won't know better, but I personally believe in something called comic karma. So the right thing to do is look at the keys and offer a comfortable percentage in which you believe you will still make money on. I would never be able to give a bulk price on a long box if I know that there's a near mint first appearance of Taskmaster within. Next up, it's important to remember to not bring others into the equation. If you've got a deal on the table, don't let your girlfriend, wife, or significant other change it. Chances are a lot of time, maybe even weeks or months, have gone into this deal. And to have it be amended by a wife thinking that you need to get more may just be the definition of not cool, brethren. It's important to be nice. There are a couple comic book shops I have not returned to due to their mistreatment of customers. One shop treated a customer particularly poorly right in front of me, and it sticks. Don't badmouth your customer base, no matter how silly you find their question to be. Just answer their questions and be polite. It's important to remember that presentation matters quite a bit. A good shop or a good deal is best done with a level of presentation. Comic books that are bagged and boarded, bonus points for Mylar or top loaders. The extra step of ensuring a good look to the collection may result in a repeat buyer. Next up, it's important to be conservative with your grading. If you are unsure of how to grade comics, say something, whether it be an eBay post or an in-person deal, that they are welcome to look at the collection themselves and decide for themselves. Don't make up estimates in order to appear smarter than you are. Be upfront about any defects and anything going on in general with the comic. Understand the difference between graded and raw prices. What is more frustrating as a buyer when you see a raw book priced at a 9.8 equivalent? Oftentimes this will happen at flea markets and yard sales with folks that don't know the hobby, but for those that do know the hobby, there's no excuse. Charging $100 for a raw copy of Man of Steel 18 is incorrect. Maybe the 9.8s do that, but certainly not raw. Next up, be open to trades. Not everyone is open to trades, and that's fine. Sometimes you need the money more than more inventory. If someone approaches you with a trade or money offer or trade money offer hybrid, be respectful and take it into consideration. And if you can't, just say no and explain yourself. Next up, it's really important to not disappear for months on end. Communication can be tricky if you've got your hands full as a shop owner. You're probably juggling an extensive hour job with multiple collections coming in, multiple customer bases, and frankly just a lot. But if you are offering a service, keep that person updated and give them that peace of mind. Let them know that you didn't just run off with their books. It's very important to remember not to overcharge for services. I've run into collections of slabs where folks have told me about comic book shops that have actually charged almost double what grading companies charge. My jaw has actually dropped when I've heard of what some of these comic book shops are charging just for a modern book submission without even a clean and press. I know a gentleman who for years has gone through one shop and paid $50 a book to get graded. That is just not what that costs. Shame on you. Next up, give discounts for cash offers. If a customer has amassed a large amount of books, it's good courtesy to offer a discount the more books they may get, especially when cash be present. Offering bigger deals the more their pile gets is a great way to incentivize return customers and a lot of inventory going out the door. This contributes to a great customer experience. Next is, do not judge a fellow collector. I have been guilty of this myself in that I have sometimes talked badly about ratio variance, incentives, one per store variance, because it's simply not something I'm interested in. However, collecting isn't always going to be things I'm interested in. It's important to keep your own personal opinions at bay. Just because I like collecting 80s and earlier doesn't mean everybody likes that. We're all just one big happy nerd family with different nerdy tastes. Next up could be the most important one, and it is to not price at the counter. If a book has an old price tag on it, you should be honoring that price tag when it comes up to the counter. It is true that once in a great while, you may encounter a dishonest buyer that you think maybe they swapped the tags. If you suspect that, simply just don't sell the book. It's better to do that than to reprice it at the counter. There's nothing worse as a buyer than thinking you grabbed a $5 book at a great deal, only for the clerk to reprice it at $35. Next up, it is important to chill with the overpricing. Sometimes you may have a book that you don't want to sell, but if someone were to offer the right amount of money, you would sell it. This is not how you should be conducting your affairs with every single book in your inventory. I have a couple of books I know I do not want to sell, but if someone really wanted it, I'm sure there would be a price. That should be the case for about 1 to maybe 2% of your entire inventory. If all of your wall books are collectively overpriced, you're not going to have any customers. Next up, also very important, is to not offer phony percentages. Please do not list $50 books for $100 and say 50% off. That is the equivalent of there having been no percentage off at all. I see this a lot at Comic-Cons, unfortunately. Sometimes I don't notice until I get home and I realize that I would have been better off buying something on eBay. Transparency with pricing is key. Next up, it's important to go the extra mile. I often find the best shops will do special events either for Black Friday or Free Comic Book Day and other things like Magic the Gathering nights on Thursdays. When you go the extra mile, you become more than just a comic shop. You become a place to hang out and to return to, first and foremost. It's also important to treat customers like your middle school crush that got away. If you treat customers the same way you treat Christine that you haven't seen in 19 years, they will feel special, acknowledged, and tended to hand and foot. Nothing makes a customer feel more special than a look of deep longing, decades in the making. It's important to show customers your muscles. Us comic book folk regularly are lifting heavy slabs and long boxes. Impress your customers by showing them your triceps and back muscles. This exchange will make them feel more secure under your strapping prowess and will enable them to more consciously avoid the weaker trade partners. Finally, it's important to remember to offer complimentary massages. If someone drops $1,000 or more, it makes sense to give them a few extra amenities that they didn't even consider. A perfect example is a back massage from the store manager or owner themselves. This not only shows that you care, but it demonstrates your abilities with your hands. Let customers know that you're capable and that you know what you're doing. Give them a kiss on the ear, and they may just be inclined to buy that Hulk 181 that you've had for 8 months. It is my hope, fellow sellers, that you will apply these to your lives on an everyday basis. I hope that this video was educational in some form. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out, good sirs, and I will see you at the next video.
Make sure to come down to Sentiment Depot Antiques and Collectibles, where I'm set up with all of my comics, located at 238 West Delaware Ave, Pennington, New Jersey. Open every day except for Monday and Tuesday. Enjoy 10% off from Wednesday to Friday. See you there.